Hello there and welcome back to my YouTube channel. James here as ever for today's video all about how to pass your upcoming financial management, that's the FM and F9 paper. In today's video I'm going to take you through all of the free resources available to you on ACCA's website, along with showing you all the past papers and going through some exam technique that I'd have liked to have known if I had to sit my FM exam tomorrow, next week, next month, whatever it may be. These are the tips and resources that I'd be using from my experience and insights. If you haven't visited my channel before, my name is James. I'm an ACCA qualified member from the UK. And on my channel, I make ACCA videos to help ACCA students and accounting students, wherever you may be around the world, to pass your exams. The YouTube channel is 100% student-led and I dedicate all my videos to my lovely subscribers. So if you'd like to become one of them, make sure you hit the button below so you don't miss out on any free videos. And as well, you can leave me a comment at the bottom with any requests because I dedicate the videos to my lovely subscribers. And today is no different as ever. So as you can see from my fantastic editing, Viddy, oh, I bet you're shocked, Viddy. It's all right. I got your message. Thank you so much for it. But as you can see, Viddy's put, "Hey James, your videos are really helpful." Viddy, my friend, oh, thank you so much. Can you please make more videos on F9, like how to prepare it if you have less than a month? Oof. Right, Viddy, including the syllabus. Fantastic. We're going to look at that in this video, and revision. Oof. 2 ticks on that, Viddy. I've got you covered, my friend. As I said in this video, I'm going to walk and talk you through all of those key resources that you can access for free. All you've got to do is click the link in the description. It's going to take you directly onto ACCA's website. I'll walk and talk you through all of the key aspects that could make the difference in getting you that 50 plus to pass your exam. If you haven't already checked out my actual financial management lecture series, which is on the channel as well, make sure you do. And if you want access to all of these free videos, like I said before, just hit the subscribe button below. You don't want to miss out on any of the uploads because it could be the difference in getting you that 50 plus and passing your exam. If you do find the insights helpful as we go through the video, which I hope you do, I mean, it'd be rude not to, wouldn't it? But in all seriousness, thank you so much as ever for the support. So if you wouldn't mind giving the video a massive like and thumbs up below, it helps more accounting students see the content and to help more people out, which is the reason for the channel. And finally, if you've got any comments or anything like that, as I said, leave it in the comments below. Comments in the comments. It's all right. But also, more importantly, if you know someone who's got that financial management exam coming up, make sure you share it with them because, again, it could be the difference in them passing or not. It's so tough, this exam, to pass. The differences in getting just over the line are very small. So the little insights in this video could make the difference. So before we head on to the main screen, make sure you've got a pen and paper at the ready to get down some notes. Get a cup of tea, drink, whatever it is, sit nice and comfy. If you watch all the way to the end, you're going to get so much value out of this video. So without any further ado, let's head on to the main screen. 3, 2, 1, and go. Okay then, so if you've clicked the link in the description for this video, it's going to bring you directly onto ACCA's website, where you can find all of the financial management, that's the FM and F9 free materials. I'm here on the side, all the important information will be in the middle, so make sure you've got a pen and paper at the ready, as I said, and let me just walk and talk you through some of the key aspects. And first and foremost, we have to come down to the bottom to make you aware of the pass rates. So as you can see here, it's hovering around about 50%. So as in June 2021, we had 53%. So what that means is a pass rate for every 100 students that sit the exam, 53 passed in June. So about 1 in 2 pass overall, which is, I want to make sure I'm in that 1 in 2. Well, if you stick around to the end of this video, I'm going to take you through all of the key resources that I'd be using if I had to do the financial management exam again, and they could be the difference in getting you into that 1 in 2. Could be the difference? Of course it's going to be the difference. So as you can see, first thing to note down, make sure you watch that introduction to financial management video on there directly from ACCA. Well worth watching. On top of that, if you haven't already, watch my lecture series. I've done a whole breakdown. I'm going to show you what I talk about in the syllabus later on into this video as well. Because the first key resource that you need to be aware of is this financial management essentials on one page. A really helpful, useful tool that breaks down absolutely everything. And I'm assuming at this point you've never seen this before, but what it actually entails is saying what should you expect to come up on this exam all on one page. So maybe get a note to actually print it out yourself. The key thing on the side here from the overview are all of the key financial management terms that you need to be aware of ahead of this exam. And this breaks down into the syllabus, which we'll be coming on to later. And as you can see in the middle, you're going to have to talk about, describe, and effectively discuss how a financial manager actually operates and links into corporate objectives and stakeholder objectives and the economic environment for business, along with risk management and other key decision-making tools. So really key aspects that I always find that with financial management students, they get sometimes a bit overwhelmed by the amount of content and where it all sort of fits in. So that little overview there will be really helpful, especially if you're new to the actual module itself. Get it printed out, and it will really help you break down all of those key concepts into more digestible chunks. You've then also got on here the steps to success. So we've got everything from practicing the exam style, or becoming onto the past paper questions later on. Make sure you've covered the whole syllabus, because they can pull out absolutely anything. And then we've got to also attempt at least 2 full exams under exam conditions, debrief your answers. The ACCA marking team here are saying, in other words, if you don't do some of the past papers and you don't do them to time, poor time management, lack of question practice are some of the main reasons why people fail this exam. You can also have a look at the actual key resources at the bottom. So if I just take my mouse over it, you've got all the hyperlinks down there. Maybe put it to a call of action in your notes to say, well, I want to have a look through some of those. Well, in the rest of the video, we're going to be talking and going through some of the PDFs, as you can see at the top, that I'd be downloading and making sure I have accessible to me to help me out. Finally on here, you've actually got tackling the exam, broken down into 3 sections on there. Section A, we've got 15 objective test questions. The key note to get down here is you've really got to focus in and understand the requirement and break down the answers, because some of them are completely not right, and they are these sort of outliers that are there designed to put you off. But I would definitely be doing section A first of all in the exam when I've got a fresh mind, because you really need to focus in. Then you've got 3 OT questions again, or cases should I say. These are relating to actually containing a scenario. Again, reading the actual question and requirement carefully is really key on here, because lots of people actually rush through section B, because section C is usually the area which they panic the most, because these are scenario based. You need to be really clear and concise with your answer, plan it out effectively, refer your answer back to the scenario, and show all your workings. These are all key notes that you need to get down from here. And of course, as well, with poor time management, lots of students don't actually get on to completing all the requirements in section C, so that is why you need to do the questions to time. So that's one of the fundamental first resources that I'd be printing out and definitely utilising in my actual revision. I got that excited, I even hit the mouse there, because you could also be doing your first CBE. So this can be your first computer-based examination. Maybe you've got some exemptions and financial management is your first exam. And this is a really helpful guide going through everything from what the question layout would be, how the format would actually be entailed, filling in the blanks, drag and drop list. It's all broken down here for areas and sort of approaches and styles that you could be tested on in your exam. This is really, really helpful. I'm going to scroll down to the functions, like you've got the calculator on there. Again, we'll be coming on to specimen exam papers, but also these functions on here for how to lay out your answer, and then also for calculations are really, really key in this exam, because you can actually copy and paste things over, and also calculating areas such as MPV and how you would lay this out. So this bit here is a really key spreadsheet formulae that you need to be looking at for your financial management exam. Definitely get it down in your notes to revisit this, learn how to calculate them, because MPV will be on your exam, IRR could be on your exam as well. So definitely something to be aware of, and I just wanted to highlight it especially for this video. So that covers the first areas from the actual introduction on there. And then secondly, really it comes down to maybe this is your first ACCA exam, or the standard really when you're moving up to the financial management paper gets a lot harder. So planning your studying, how to effectively do this, booking the exam because then you're committed to it, knowing the exam and putting that study plan into action. There are some great points on here. Again, feel free to read through it in your own time and utilize the other videos on the channel that will definitely help you out from my experience to get you over the line and to pass this exam. I'm not going to read it through in detail. I just want to make you aware, and then when you're going through in your own time, utilizing that time effectively. That is a key thing that a plan is definitely going to be key to say, when is my available time to study? You then also got another video on here about the examining team guidance, how to actually go about this. So again, another video, it's only 5 minutes. You can see F9 on there. This is because FM was previously called F9. And you've also got an examiner's approach article, really helpful on there, broken down. We'll be having a look through the syllabus and study guide in a moment with these main capabilities. So I'm going to break this down for you as well. Plus you've got the specimen exams and a little conclusion. But again, pop it down in your actual notes. Again, for something to read through, probably only going to take you half an hour, 45 minutes on there as well. Now, you also have these actual quizzes as you go through, and potentially English isn't maybe your first language, or like me, you're okay at math, but maybe you want to do some checks to see how you're getting on. Especially in financial management, a key thing to get written down in your notes is the more workings and the more step-by-steps you show in your answer, the better marks you're going to get, because you're going to get all the carried forward and own figure marks. This is where if you make a mistake earlier on in the calculation, the marker will still give you the marks as you go through. And then finally, you've got some self-check quizzes on here, assessing your underlying knowledge. I'd be implementing those after you've read through the core text and maybe after you've had a go at a few practice questions. So I wouldn't do it straight away. Give yourself some time to understand the core concepts, and that will definitely help you settle those nerves before the exam. We've already seen it before. We've actually got the syllabus on here. Now, this is a really, really important resource for you to get down. Just simply scroll down and pick up on the PDF which relates to your exam on here. So this is, well, I should have clicked the one that I had on here earlier. So there it is on there for the actual syllabus and study guide. And again, read it through in your own time. If this is your first ACCA exam, I'd go through each of the content areas one by one, because it shows the detail and knowledge that you'll actually have to go into for this exam. It also shows how financial management fits in as an applied skills paper, and then more guidance relating back to what the step up is to getting to this exam. Time management as well is going to be another key factor for you to pass your exam, and then other guidance from the examination assessment about where issues have actually been occurring in the past and what changes there could be. Also on here, if you want to be having a look through your previous studies, the management accounting exam has some materials in there that link into financial management, but personally I'd be having a look through the actual lecture slides, which I'm going to come on to later on, because I cover all of the areas on there as a recap. So everything in management accounting that could come up in financial management are covered on the channel in the actual lecture series, so make the most of it. You've then got a nice introduction and breakdown to the syllabus, but here is where, especially if you've never worked as a financial manager before, this is where you understand all of the key concepts. A to H you need to be able to actually understand before your exam, and as you can see on here, A to H, it shows you how it's all linked in to the other variety of areas. So the financial management environment, business valuation, these are key common functions that you need to be aware of. Now, another key note to get down, and if you have access to a printer, I'd highly recommend getting this printed off to put in your notes. You can actually put these into separate folders to break up the syllabus, so that if you go through any questions, you have any notes on business finance, valuations, the financial management function, then you'd have it in folder A, folder E, folder F, and it breaks it down nicely. Now put this down in your notes. This is where I've been through the whole syllabus. You've got a whole free lecture series on the channel going through all these elements, so you understand everything you need to know on it. It's well worth going through. It really actually sort of highlights all the key areas that you could be tested on in the exam, and then on top of it, breaks down all of the key functions to say, well, what does it actually mean? How could it be tested? and you get a good understanding of it. So feel free to check it out on there, put it as an action to take away from this video, that you're going to sit down, take some notes, and they will definitely help you out. Now this is the actual detailed study guide. So from the financial management function and the nature and purpose of financial management. So as you see up here, you've got financial management function in area A, then you've got the nature and purpose of financial management, and what the detailed study guide does here is it tells you all of the potential elements that you could be tested on there. So explaining the nature of it and relationships between the different areas. So a really helpful tool. I'd definitely be saving a copy of this and referring to it as I'm going through the study text and when I'm going through my past paper questions and revision practice. Finally at the bottom, and this is another key aspect just to be aware of, in case there are any changes to the syllabus, they always include a little brief at the bottom what the change was, so employability and technology, so very minimal in this case here. But again, I'd definitely be downloading that. It is definitely going to help, and another unused resource by ACCA students. We've already seen maths and English come up before. You've got more actual resources on here. The key thing about the English language skills is because in this exam you have to explain and say why and what are the reasons for and against, the benefits and the negatives about a potential decision. So it's all how you communicate. That is what is going to separate a student who passes versus someone who fails. So if you need some support, all the links are on there. I'll leave it for you to have a look through in your own time, along with the math support as well for calculations like the WACC, MPV. These are all key areas that could come up in your exam, along with CAPM as well. So that takes us through the first part on getting started. Then we come on to effective learning and revision. So again, more details on here. Have a look through it in your own time as to how you'd actually plan, undertake the revision process, exam technique, mock exams. Really nice breakdown on here, along with other strategies and podcasts. More resources that if you want to go about it a different way, or maybe you're resitting the financial management exam yourself, check these out on here to get some new ideas, along with some of the other resources I have on the channel to help. So that nicely brings us on to the actual practice platform. So what you have on here are specimen exam papers, practice exams. You'd log into your My ACCA account on here, but the key thing is always you go and do these after you've been through the core text, and then you've already attempted some exam questions yourself, maybe in your study packs. Because the reason for that is it will show the areas that you didn't get right on here. So there's no point in doing it after when you've only covered half of the syllabus, because that's not really going to help you pinpoint areas that you need to target in your revision. So again, a really helpful tool, just it depends how you deploy it. And I'd be looking to get these done 4 weeks before the exam, 3 weeks before the exam at the latest, so that I've got enough time to review them and then understand where I went wrong and what I need to recap on. So coming on to, we've had a look at the practice platform. Now we have got some fantastic technical articles on here. And you may be looking at these going, oh my word, I've never used these before. Well, these are very helpful when you've gone through a question, usually past paper or from your revision guide, and maybe you've done a question on working capital management and you only got 3 out of 8 or 2 out of 10 or something on those lines. So the two things I always used to do was have a look back at your study text, and then secondly, have a look at the actual articles on here, because it will break down the working capital management into the importance of it, the objectives, and look at the detail on here as to all of the different ratios that you could refer to. And it's a really helpful guide to break it down. So definitely something I'd be referring to, especially in my revision. It is definitely going to help you out, along with all of the tricky areas that there are on financial management. But if you go through those technical articles, it's really going to underpin your knowledge. Next, we have the examiner's reports on here. Look at this. I've already been through one of these on the channel, so make sure you check them out. And again, I've clicked the button when I didn't need to. James, look, here's one we prepared earlier. And look at this lady. She's very happy. She's obviously passed her financial management exam. But the key thing on here is it's really helpful document. It breaks down all the 3 sections with example questions, and then gives you the correct answer on there, and then says why is it the correct answer, and why are the other answers not correct. So I'd be actually trying to go through these, attempt the questions myself, hide the answers so don't put them on the screen, and see how you get on. Use it as extra question practice, and they've even put on their conclusions as to say, well, why is it incorrect, as we touched on. Then it breaks it down into section B. Again, more questions, exactly the same as you go through. It is a lengthy document, 18 pages, but trust me on this, there is so much value on here as to what could possibly come up with the use of all the formulas, broken down with all the workings. And again, I think a really helpful tool that if someone who reads through this understands all the key concepts. If I was going to attempt to read through this myself, I'd say one night do section A, another night do section B, and another night do section C. So you're going to be more focused in, and you're going to have a better chance of actually finishing it as well, because it is a bit wordy, but there is a lot of value in here, I would say, from my experience going through it. And I mean, just look at this, all the workings, the key points, the discursive answers. A student who reads through this and understands all of the requirements and the key terms identified in the question, which we'll look at in the past papers in a moment, that is definitely going to benefit you. So 100% get that down in your notes, that after this video, you're going to go download the most up-to-date paper for you. So that takes us through the examiner's reports. We've also got the actual exam technique on here. So another key resource on here, read the mind of the FM marker. So another really helpful resource. Again, usually get it in a PDF, but I think this is on a actual, oh, there it is. Look at that, beautiful. So let me just take off this. Professional as ever, James. We're too late now to actually go back and re-edit it or anything on those lines. This is so you actually know what it's like. So yes, as you can see on here, this is a really helpful tool for you, where you get basically what this document does, and I'll make it a touch bigger, is it gives you a couple of questions, or one question in this case, and gives you two candidates, 1 and 2, and it shows you what their answer was, one that passes and one that fails. So in this case, it always highlights all of the key areas, all the different notes. So from the answer, what was good, and from the answer, what was bad. So this answer on here gave 11 out of 20, and the external marker picks out textbook knowledge will earn few, if any, marks in this exam. What they should have added on there is application back to the scenario of financial management understanding will get you more marks in the exam. So if you want to write that down, feel free to. But look on here, you've got one answer that got 11 and one answer that got 9. So one answer that passed and one answer that failed. And this is it, where it shows you how they did really well in part A and then got nothing in part 2 on there. And then breaks it down to say, well, look how much was written there for no marks. Same here for this paragraph, because they weren't specific back to the actual requirement, what it was asking for. So a really helpful tool. I would definitely be using this if I was in your situation, analysing it through to understand what standard I need to be doing this exam to. So again, definitely something I'd be putting down along with the actual discursive and other objective questions. So plenty of resources on here to take advantage of. So that takes us through the exam technique, and now we're on to the actual past papers. Again, first things first on here, if you want to take a screenshot of it, I mean, on here we go down to 2017, I'd print that out and start ticking them off one by one from when I've completed them. But the standard procedure is always do the most recent ones and work your way back. So being professional as ever, I've already downloaded the 2021 March and June paper, and this is a classic scenario question for you on here. You get a sort of scenario, venture in this case, but notice on here we get key terms like CAPM that we actually have to refer to, and then comment briefly on the view of the commercial director. So if I don't see commercial director in an answer, then I know they've not read the question properly. Discuss 3 problems that the company may be facing as a result of its current high level of gearing. So everything from interest levels to a higher percentage of WACC. There could be cash flow issues. These are the things that come to mind straight away. But it's this analysis and the detail that you need to get to. And again, you get a second scenario on there with the actual answers. And this is the key thing, that go through the question yourself, do it to time, and then look at the answers. You're going to get so much more value out of that versus just having a look at the answers and saying, oh, that was all right, oh, that was okay. And then you can break it down into where you actually got areas right and where you got areas wrong so that you can learn more effectively. So it's just to make you aware of the resource and the fact that so many students do not use these effectively. So make sure you do them at a time, as we said, and go through them at your own pace. But the key thing is doing it. That is the main thing. So those are the past papers. Start from the earliest and work your way back. The more you do, the better prepared you're going to be. Here we have the actual frequently asked questions. So it doesn't matter. Well, I usually say if someone's completely new to financial management, this is one of the first places to start, because these are all the common ACCA questions that the ACCA get on financial management. And whichever one you click on here, so can you explain what total shareholder return is? It then gives you a nice little breakdown for you. Click back to the top and it takes you back to the top. So put it maybe down on your list, have a read through, understand the areas on there, and it's a really helpful tool because they've already done the donkey work for you. So, and again, these could be areas that come up in your exam, so definitely worth a look. But speaking of things that come up in your exam, we've now got the actual formulae and maths tables. So these are actually given to you in the examination, but the key thing here is you've got to be comfortable actually applying them and using them. So if you click the actual download area on there, it's going to take you to a usual sort of PDF, as you can see on here. And it breaks down all of the formula sheets and maths tables that you could be tested on. So in my eyes, what I'll be saying to you here is make sure you've done a question in your question practice before this exam where you've worked out the growth model, you've worked out CAPN on here, you've actually attempted an MPV question where you've applied different discount rates on there. So this is where you need to really put in the practice, go through it, have a look at the annuity questions on there, find questions where they've applied the actual formulas. So here they are on here. So what we have, the rate on one side, so the percentages, as you can see here, is the R, and the number is the actual periods as you go down the side there. So just something to be aware of, nice and easy, but an underused tool that there will be on your exam questions that involve these formulas. It's a case of you applying them correctly and knowing which ones actually refer to which areas of the syllabus. So that takes us through all of the learning and revision, and the final key free resource on here is what we've got on here where you can watch it on demand. And this is the actual practice platform where they've actually done question practice, how to get the most out of the actual platform itself. And this is an ACCA verified webinar. All you need to do is put in your details on here. It's on demand, so you can watch it in the gym or at home, but make sure you're actually able to take notes because there will be nuggets of information in there. It's ACCA credible, so there will be tips and tricks in there to help you out when it comes to your exam. And put it this way, if I had to do my financial management exam again, I would watch it. So there you go. It's on there for you. It's free. The ball is in your court there. Well, that nicely takes us through everything from getting started, all of the learning and revision, which only leads us back to that pass rate where if you actually take these PDFs, all the resources, all the notes and insights that we've talked about in today's video, I firmly believe that you will find yourself with good question practice and going through as many past papers as possible in that 53%, like in June, that pass this exam. So you got this. I hope you found the video helpful, but let's head back to the main screen now. 3, 2, 1, go! Well, Viddy and everyone else who's got the financial management exam coming up, I hope you found that video helpful, going through all those key resources. Those are the insights and my experience that I'd have really liked to have known before I actually had to sit the exam myself. If you did find the video helpful, make sure you give the video a massive thumbs up and like below. I really appreciate the support, so thank you so much. And be sure to share this with any study buddies or work colleagues that you know who have also got the exam coming up, because if you've got to this point in the video, you know how much value there is, and it could be the difference in getting that 50 plus and progressing on to the next exam. If you have any requests or sort of feedback, or let me know what you thought of the video, drop me a comment below. I read and reply to all of them. And as well, make sure you subscribe so you get access to all my free resources and you get notified of all of my uploads. That's the main thing. Again, all from my experience and insights to help you out to pass your exams and obviously to get on to finishing your ACCA overall and qualifying. That is the key thing. So the final thing I can say is best of luck with your upcoming FM or F9 exam. Let me know how you get on. Again, feel free to drop me a comment or find me on Instagram, whatever works best for you. As a final treat, to give you a final little bit of an insight, what I've done for you is I've left a couple of videos at the end. If you click one of them, they could be a little difference to get you over the line from my experience, so make the most of it, and you've got this. But as ever, on that bombshell, I'll see you next time. Cheers!